Om Shanti. My hope is that you've been experimenting both with the practice of being here as you work, as you walk, as you talk, as you do the things that you need to do, but also that you've been taking a few moments here and there to practice this idea of just staying in the awareness of the soul and experiencing your own inner quality of peace, Om Shanti, but also of all the other treasures that lie within you. When we connect with our own inner qualities, we begin to value the self. We begin to have self-esteem. And when there's true self-esteem, there's no ego and there's no inferiority complex. Superiority and inferiority complexes both are dropped, and the soul is able to have its own value, its own state of self-esteem and self-respect. And in that state, then of course, the quality of our interaction with others changes enormously. We're able to give respect to others without demanding it back in return. We don't expect that they have to give us respect first and then we give them respect. No, it's a natural way of being. I have my own dignity, my own state of self-respect, and when I look at another, I see them as a soul. I don't see them in their physical form. I just see here the light that's shining in their forehead, and I know that that connection is going to be a good one, a positive one. Experiment with it again and again, and you'll see the huge difference it begins to make in your life. Just a few minutes every so often is enough. And yes, from every few minutes, increase it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a bit more, a bit more. Can I do that? Try it. Earlier I'd spoken about Raj Yoga as being union with the Supreme, the Master. We've spoken about soul and the awareness of soul, which I could describe as soul consciousness, as distinct to body consciousness, physical consciousness. So in this awareness of soul, I become very open when I sit in silence to experience the presence of God. I'm sure that if you've been experimenting, not just for 1 or 2 minutes, but maybe 10 minutes, practicing this awareness of soul, then you would have felt yourself opening up in a way that you hadn't before. So in soul consciousness, then the next step would be connecting with the divine, by whatever name you know the divine. But just as a soul is a point of light, imperishable, you can't cut it, you can't break it, you can't squash it, you can't pressurize it. It exists and it exists eternally. In the same way, Param Atma, Paramatma, soul, but supreme. And so what does that mean? It means that the form of the divine, God, Jehovah, Allah, whoever we might say is the divine, this supreme being is supreme not in size. Because if the supreme were supreme in size, then that would encompass everything, and that would mean constant change and dilution and impurity coming in. Whereas we know that God is eternal. Not only is the form eternal, God's qualities are also infinite and eternal. From beginning through till now, and for however long this cycle is to continue, through into the next cycle. God's existence is forever, eternal. The form is the same, but the qualities are quite different. God is the ocean. Can I say I'm the child of God, and so that love is my birthright? Yes, I can. Well, let me claim that love and experience that love. But yet, I can never be the ocean. Unlimited, infinite, no limits to it whatsoever. But God is the ocean of love. And so, I can take that love and fill myself with that through yoga, through meditation, and I can even be an instrument to stay connected and allow that pure love to flow through me so that everybody has that sense of love. Spiritual love is inclusive. It's not exclusive. It doesn't exclude anyone. It includes everyone. And so whatever my background may be, I'm not just sending love to the people I'm connected with on the external level. I can send love to the world. I can send love to all forms of life. I can send love to nature. So the power of love is to transform. The energy of love changes us. And so connecting with God, the ocean of love, means that that love reaches us and helps us in our life, in our transformation. The ocean of peace, the ocean of wisdom, the ocean of knowledge. In some traditions they say there are 99 names of God. And in Bharat we say that if you were to turn the earth into paper, the trees into quills, and the ocean into ink, you would still not be able to write all the praise of God. But 29, 99, whatever it is, names of God is fine. I can begin with that. Let me experiment with each one of these different attributes and see if I can feel it coming from the divine and reaching me. And maybe my thought is, I want to experience peace today. But maybe the divine knows that more than peace, what I need is power. And so it's not just what I say, but it's a two-way connection. My thought reaching God and God's thoughts reaching me. A direct connection with no intermediary in between whatsoever. Every child has a right to a direct connection with a parent. And if a child is deprived of this, the physical and the psychological growth of that child becomes stunted. But no, every child has a right to the parent's love, which means every soul has a right to God's love. Worthy, unworthy does not come into the picture. Yes, it will when I want it to, but when I begin my journey, no conditions attached, no excuses, no carelessness. I just say, I, the soul, detached from the body, I want to connect with the divine, and all the treasures are opening up, and you'll be able to experience the divine and experience all the qualities of God. In a way, we could say that God is the bank, the one who keeps all these qualities in storage for us, keeps them safe, because we lose them through our journey in life. And so then we say, but they did this, so how can I give them love in return? Or this thing happened, and I'm supposed to be remaining peaceful? How can I be peaceful when something like this is happening? But this is what yoga is all about, that I connect, I experience, and I follow it in my life, And then, when a difficult situation comes, the natural progression of the soul means I'll be able to share positivity with everyone around me instead of anything negative. Connection with God is the most important thing to give attention to in these days when everything around us is uncertain. God is the only constant factor within the drama. Human souls are not constant, they're not consistent. Today I have one partner, and tomorrow I want to shift and get another partner. Today I have a job, but I get bored with that. I want to shift and get another job. We keep being mobile, going from here to there, thinking that we're going to be able to learn something. But in fact, the most important thing is to know that the one constant, consistent factor in my life is the divine. Whatever the rest of my journey has been, if it's been a difficult one, a tragic one, the power of God's love will heal the soul. So just take love from Baba, that's it. But that power of love is so incredible that the situations change. Things that were impossible become possible. Experiment with each one of God's virtues. I've mentioned 5, but there's plenty more. So I've mentioned peace and love and truth, happiness and purity. I keep reminding you of these things because this is fundamental. Once you experience these qualities in your life through your own experimentation, you'll find that it's very useful for you. And you'll also be able to check yourself deeply. You won't just get caught up in the busyness of life, even though things have become quite strange and still at the moment. But it's going to come back, life is going to become busy again. And what will I have done? And so let me prepare now to carry me through these difficult times, but also to be able to prepare for whatever the future may hold. Let me experiment with the awareness of the inner being, the soul, and let me go deeper and deeper inside and find this garland of these 5 virtues. But in that awareness of the soul, in peace, connect with the divine. If I'm peaceless and I ask God for peace, God will grant me a little bit of peace. But if I've understood God's teachings, and I know these are the qualities within the soul, and I sit in remembrance of God, then my mind is already prepared. And the peace and the love and the power I get from the divine are beyond imagination. Everyone who follows the path of Raj Yoga can see how well they're doing through their transformation in the quality of their exchange with others and their relationships with others. Where is God? God is up above. And I don't mean in the ceiling or the sky, but there's a dimension which is beyond the physical dimension. It's the dimension of light. Param Dham, the supreme abode, the subtle region and beyond, the world of light, the land of silence, the land of stillness, the land of purity. All of these things have been experienced. So when I sit to meditate, I have to tune my mind to the right frequency. So first step, soul consciousness. Second step, connect with Shiv Baba. And then third step, be with Baba in the subtle region. And if I do that, I'm using this word Baba to make it more friendly and familiar. I'm using this word for God. People are allergic sometimes to the word God, but Baba is a very sweet and loving term. So let me experience Baba, God, through meditation. Again, follow the ideas that I share. An experiment, treat it just simply as this, an experiment. And you can decide what you want to believe later on. But go through these sessions experimenting for yourself and then deciding what it is useful for you. I come to the awareness of the soul. I have a body, but that's not my identity. My identity a soul filled with all virtues, in this awareness of the soul, separate from the body, I enter the presence of the divine, a being of light. And in the presence of the divine, surrounded by peace, surrounded by love, I focus now on the being, the Supreme, a point of light. From the ocean of all attributes, the power of love reaches me. The love awakens memories in the hearts of those out there. The power of God's love heals the pain I have been carrying. The power of God's love teaches me to forgive. The power of love dissolves all problems. The healing power is not only for me. The healing power reaches my entire human family. God's love reaches out to all forms of life. God's love offers safety and protection to all creatures. God's love even begins to heal nature itself. God's love transforms, rejuvenates, God's love touches the elements of nature and purifies nature, so nature begins to cooperate once more. The power of God's love rejuvenates the entire planet and all within it. Om Shanti.